I'm at our son Ed's home here, and we're going to record just a few little facts about my life from the time I was born up until today, and I'm going to be 78 on October 26th of this year. I was born on the 26th of October 1929. That was the year of the Great Depression. Barn Avenue in Laughlin, Ohio. And I was the fourth child of George Rakel and Gertrude Tallman. Tallman was my mother's maiden name. Altogether, we had 9 children. I had 5 brothers and 3 sisters. And to bring you up to date real fast, there are just 4 of us left. There's 5 that have passed away. My brother Paul here, my brother Robert, my brother Ed. The 3 sisters have all passed away. My dad worked very hard, which he had to with 9 children. And my mother stayed home and raised us. So my oldest brother was Roland, and my next brother, the oldest brother, was Donald. And then my sister, Mary Catherine, they call her Sis. She's the one that really raised us after my mother passed away when I was just a freshman in high school. She quit high school as a sophomore and raised us. You'll see through some of the pictures that Ed may show here how she mothered me from the time I was just an ornery little baby. I didn't think too much about smiling at that time. When I was growing up, I attended several elementary schools. As I said, I was born in Laughlin, Ohio, so we attended St. Peter and Paul grade school in Reading. And then we left there and moved to Norwood, Ohio, where I attended again St. Peter and Paul in Norwood, Ohio. And after we lived there for a while, I guess it's because we couldn't pay the rent, we had to leave and moved to St. Bernard, where I attended St. Clement's grade school and graduated from St. Clement's grade school. Well, while there, I was on the basketball team, and we played and won the city championship in my 7th and 8th grade. From there, I went on to Roger Bacon High School. So I did stay there for 4 years. In my freshman year, my mother became very ill with streptococcus virus, and in those days, as a civilian, you couldn't obtain penicillin. They were saving it all for the military because World War II had started. And my mother passed away in 1942, the year the war started. My 2 brothers were on the ocean going over. They did catch my younger brother Don, brought him home for the funeral, but my brother Roland never made it. I graduated from Roger Bacon and went to work at National Distillers, where my dad worked. Dad worked there until he was 55 when he passed away. He had cancer. I started out there as messenger, carrying the mail, progressed through several clerical positions, and after a stint in the Coast Guard, I ended up as the superintendent of the plant. I met Suzanne, my wife. I used to sing the Al Jolson N-Man numbers in minstrel shows. And we did a show at her church, which was St. Charles. And she was in a chorus. And I noticed her in the chorus, and I used to suck on lemons to keep my voice fresh. And I would throw the peelings up at her. So that's how we met. We ended up getting married. Now, we had 4 children. Our oldest son, Ed, our daughter, Linda, was next in line, and then our son, Stephen, was next in line, and Kathy was the 4th child. We lived, after I got out of the service, came home, and that time we just had Ed, and we lived in a rental home. on Nansen Avenue in Carthage. And eventually, my father-in-law, Ed Mock, he passed away, and his wife, Catherine, which was Suzanne's mother, of course, wanted to move in with her mother-in-law and her cousin, Libby, at that time, because she still had Jeree, who was Suzanne's sister, a younger sister. And they were right across the street from the home that we bought from them. We actually bought their home on North Bend Road, and they lived right across the street from it. When we graduated from school, I did come home to get married, and I remember going down to the church. We had a pastor named Father Blotman. He was kind of a crusty old guy, but he and I actually became friends. But when I walked in, he said, "Well, I can't marry you." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, you haven't taken all the preparatory courses." I said, "Father, I haven't been available. You know, I'm in the service yet, and I've had other obligations." "Well, I don't know if I can marry you." I said, well, finally, I just told him, I said, "Look, so I'm home on leave. I'm going to get married. Now, if I have to go over to Kentucky and get a justice of the peace, that's what we're going to do. So, you want to marry me or not?" "Oh, okay, I'll marry you." So we ended up getting married at St. Charles Borromeo Church in Carthage. We took as many trips as we could. I got into the income tax business on the side, because my father used to do that, and that extra money helped us take way to Yellowstone Park with the 4 children. Went to Cleveland Lake Erie numerous times, and over the years, the other children were born, and we ended up. They ended up all growing up and going out on their own. Suzanne and I then started looking into dancing, and we became what I think was pretty good dancers. There's probably some shots of us dancing that Ed will incorporate in this presentation. But we did square dancing, round dancing, and ballroom dancing. Then eventually the grandchildren started coming on. We ended up having 8 grandchildren, all girls except for one. And one boy, Timmy, was the youngest one, born to Kathy and Tim Andrews. We're both getting older. We're watching our grandchildren. I couldn't go into detail here on all of their escapades. They're all doing very well in life. And Suzanne and I feel very blessed with our family. We enjoy them to the fullest. And I hope to have a few more years left to enjoy them more. So at this time, I think I'll sign off. I think that's enough me rattling on. Again, I could talk for hours on end.